Today I'm going to be comparing the Good and the Beautiful and Easy Peasy Homeschool curriculum. And why? Well, because a lot of you guys asked that question and they are free, sort of. Kind of. I'm going to explain a little bit about that later on in this video. So make sure you watch to the end because I'm going to do a deep dive into both of these so you can kind of figure out which one's going to work best for you if you're looking at them. So my name is Leilani. I'm a former public and private school teacher for 13 years and I've been homeschooling for 13 plus years. And I do lots of homeschool consultations and evaluations. So I hear a lot about these. Let's get started with looking at the cost of both of these. So easy peasy, if you do the online version, it is 100% free. You might want to print out the printables. Now they do have the option of doing it offline. And with that, you do have to buy the workbook. You do have to buy the teacher guide. They really are affordable. You could go to their shop online and you can purchase through there. But if you just want to do online, it's 100% free. I mean, I guess the exception would be buying school supplies like pencils, pens, notebooks, construction paper, scissors. Oh, and you will need a computer. So now the Good and the Beautiful is free only if you are going to be using their math K through 8th, their English language arts K through 8th, but everything else you are going to have to buy. Now, there is also that choice of purchasing that K through 8th grade math workbook online. You could do that instead of print them out, but that's completely up to you. And what's nice about that is if you want to try out the Good and the Beautiful and you don't want to have to pay for the workbook, you can download the level that you're doing, print everything out, which it is a lot. It's significant. So you do have to buy printer paper and have a printer available, but you can print all of that stuff out and use it. And if you like it, want to continue, dive deeper into different subjects, you can. So they're both basically free, and that's the whole story behind that. So let's look at their learning style because both of these have very, very, very different learning styles. So Easy Peasy is very self-paced, very independent, online or in workbook form. They do have some themes in there. So for example, if you're doing level 1 and you are going to do all the material in level 1, you're going to end up having music with the early American type music. And then you also have art with early American music. So there is a connection between all the different subjects and keeping it theme-based in that sense. It's very low prep. Actually, both Easy Peasy and the Good and the Beautiful are low prep. Now, I would say the Good and the Beautiful, there is kind of a learning curve there. And when you get in the beginning, you have to take some time to read through the process and how it works. And then once you get in the groove with Good and the Beautiful, you can kind of just go at it daily and open the book and do the thing. There are some things with not Easy Peasy, but there are some things with the Good and the Beautiful that you will need to cut out for activities and games. And that might take a little bit of time. That's a little bit of prep time right there. Now, Easy Peasy, there is none. If you're doing online, you just click open and go, basically. Now, the one thing I do want to mention about Easy Peasy is it does not do grading. It is a curriculum resource. So it's not going to score the paper. It's not going to grade. It's not going to keep track of transcripts and grades, etc. But what they do have is some resources, free download resources on their website for the grading. You can have some grading templates to keep track of grades, transcripts. Now, they do recommend that you don't grade until you get into high school. And that, for some people, that's a very homeschool, old school homeschool thought process. That is a whole video in itself. And you know what? I'm really not going to go there, to be honest, right now in this video. Maybe I'll make it later. If I were to classify Easy Peasy, I would say it is pretty much traditional. Now, when you look at the format, like I mentioned, if you go online, like it does keep track of days and what level you are. So you click in level 1, you're going to get a list of all the classes that they recommend. You can pull some out, you can add some in, you can play around with it a little bit, but basically you have the level. And then when you go in there, you can click day 1 and it'll give you all the stuff for day 1 and you just kind of go through it and do it. When you're ready for day 2, you go to day 2, go through the stuff and do it. Of course, you don't have to complete everything in day 1 to move on to day 2 and so forth, but it is highly recommended. It keeps track of your days and it keeps track of your level. So that's basically all it really does. Now, like I said, it is free. I will mention there is a donation section for Easy Peasy, and that is basically how Lee Giles makes her money. I'm going to talk a little bit about her later on in this video. So now the Good and the Beautiful. If I were to define the style of the Good and the Beautiful, I would say guess you could kind of say it's traditional, sprinkled in with a lot of Charlotte Mason, a lot of colors, vibrance. Kids love The Good and the Beautiful, and parents love it because it has so many colors and artwork. It's just, once again, it's the title, The Good and the Beautiful. Now, Easy Peasy does not, right? Easy Peasy is just words on a page. There's links. Those are colorful. If you watch the videos and the websites, those may be colorful, but it's just, it's just words on a page or words on an online platform. Good and Beautiful is beautiful. It's colorful. And so those are two really big different styles there. The other thing I do want to mention, Easy Peasy has 180 days. Now, of course, it's self-paced. You can do 2 a day. You can skip days. You can move straight through it and move to the next level. There's a lot of flexibility there when you're homeschooling. And The Good and the Beautiful has 120 lessons. Now, another thing that I mentioned, the authors, and this ties in with faith. I'm going to start by saying, because this is what everybody wants to know, is faith-based? Is it faith-based? Is it biblical worldview? Talk about that a little bit more. So with The Good and the Beautiful, the creator of The Good and the Beautiful is Jenny Phillips, and she is part of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Now, I made a whole video on this. I'm going to refer to that video because it is very in-depth. I did a lot of research. I'm going to stick it up here as well as in the description box. So when I talk about faith and Good and the Beautiful, watch that video if you want to go deeper. But I will say she does have a team of writers from lots of different backgrounds, everything from Pentecostal to Jehovah's Witness to Seventh-day Adventist to Baptist to Protestant. So you've got pretty much a wide range on her team, and it seems like she has a big team. Now, I will say I have not seen many names of her team members displayed online. If I have, the ones that I have found, I have not been able to find their denomination. So, something to keep in mind, but I will say The Good and the Beautiful is very transparent. Watch the video. All right, let me talk about Lee Giles. Okay, she is the writer of Easy Peasy, and I think her story is very, very unique because she became a Christian at the age of 10, and she does not associate with any denomination. She thinks that denominations fractures people within the body of Christ, so that's why. But she was a missionary. She was a missionary for many, many years in Muslim countries, and the way Easy Peasy is written, and she has 6 children, by the way, currently from age 12 to 25, but the way that it is written, you can see that Easy Peasy is for somebody who is a missionary. They've got a lot of stuff to be doing outside the classroom, and they just need to get the things done free, affordable, to the point, so they can get busy doing the other things. So it's great for families that are missionary minded. It's also great for RV families, busy families, people that are on a sailboat in the middle of the water and have lots of things that they have to do, and she also makes it free. I mean, it's how much of us see curriculum out there just for one subject. It's like $250. It's crazy, these prices for curriculum, and she provides it for free because of her heart, and you don't see that too often. So that gives you a little idea of these 2 different authors and a little bit about their faith subjects. So when we're talking about subjects, now Easy Peasy is going to cover like a lot of subjects. So they've got art, and within art, they have a lot of subjects. So, you'll get like modern art, you'll get ancient art. Same thing is true with Bible. You get like Old Testament, New Testament, Gospels, that kind of stuff. They've got art, they've got music, they've got Bible, they've got math, they've got science, they've got PE, health, they have language arts. They have 2 different reading curriculum, and you can actually go online and kind of understand a little bit more about how that actually works. You have to do one or the other, but they do have a reading curriculum. Oh, they do have foreign languages. So they have the full 4 years of Spanish. It's not credited because I know some states do ask for credited foreign languages for high school, but they do have 4 years of Spanish, not credited. And they do have, it looks like, 1 year of biblical Hebrew. Now, The Good and the Beautiful also has a wide range of subjects. So you've got, of course, the math. You've got the handwriting. They have great handwriting books with The Good and the Beautiful. They also have reading. They have language arts. They have science. they have history. They go through, most of theirs goes through K through 8. They do have language arts for high school. I believe also history. They do now have a biology, which I heard is very good for high school with the Good and the Beautiful. Music appreciation, which is a newer one. It looks really cool. And they have nature studies. And that's where you get the little Charlotte Mason influence with the nature studies. And both of these have some really good support. Both of them have Facebook pages, groups that you can join to get support. The Good and the Beautiful, of course, does, but Easy Peasy actually on their website will direct you to Facebook pages. And they even say that they have 80 plus Facebook pages available to the parents. Both of these groups have blogs that they come out regularly with, newsletters. They have downloadable sheets. They have a FAQ. And I think that about covers it when it comes to the technicalities about these two. But what do parents say? And now when I do this part of the video, just so you know, I am pulling from YouTube videos. I'm pulling from people that I've discussed this with, whether it's through consultations, evaluations, just friendships. I've talked to other professionals about this. So we're getting from a lot of different, I'm pulling from a lot of different people. Basically, what I have heard with Easy Peasy, I have heard parents complain that it's too much online. I've also had parents love the fact that it's too much online. And that's why I think it's great that they have that option of the workbook that you can purchase and the teacher guide that you can purchase. I've had parents love the fact that Easy Peasy is extremely independent and it's very hands-off. They don't have to do anything, but they have mentioned they feel like it's not rigorous enough, Easy Peasy. Overall, even though Easy Peasy does say that they are college prep, parents have stated that they feel like it's not rigorous enough. And that's usually in the areas of grammar. I know handwriting. I've also heard some people say we need some more math sheets to really nail down these concepts, and that's not very available with Easy Peasy. They have to go online and get workbooks from Amazon to kind of supplement that here and there. And there's some other homeschool things that they can use to supplement, like Evan Moore and maybe even Keys too. They do complain that it's too short. Like, you know, math for the day is like 2 minutes and they would like to see it go longer. So Easy Peasy is an older curriculum than the Good and the Beautiful, meaning that it's probably, my guess, not quite sure exactly the date, but I know when I started homeschooling, Good and the Beautiful wasn't there, but Easy Peasy was there. So I'm guessing they've been around for 20 years. And so the format of Easy Peasy is a little bit older. Some parents say it needs to be updated, but some parents say, you know what, I love the old school stuff because you're pulling from the classics or even using a very old reader. I think it's the McGruffy reader, and they love that about it. So it kind of really depends on you and what you want to see when it comes to the curriculum. I have also heard people complain that Easy Peasy is too Christian. Lee Giles does have some books of her own that are Christian Bible studies that she incorporates in the lesson. And so, I mean, it's up to you. You can pull those out, but she does draw and bring in different biblical worldview ideas into all the subject matter that's online. She does come, I do want to mention that she does come from a literal 6-day creation perspective, and she is young earth. However, when she wrote this, there was not much young earth material out there, so some of the material does dip into the millions of years and evolution. However, she did mention that she feels like it's important to talk about that to prepare our kids to defend their faith by understanding both perspectives. The Good and the Beautiful. People love The Good and the Beautiful overall. There is some discussion about faith-based stuff because there was some drama 10 years ago. Watch that other video and I'll help kind of like break it down a little bit with that one. It's beautiful. It's thorough. That's the one thing about The Good and the Beautiful. It is so incredibly thorough. It crosses the T's, dots the I's. Like, you literally don't have to worry about whether or not your kid is learning all the things if that's your priority. It is very hands-on and parent intensive. So if you're working full time and you don't have time to do that, or even if you just don't like to do that, you're gonna have some issues with that, with the games and activities, especially with the younger years. Now, obviously, as they get older, it's less parent intensive. But the idea of The Good and the Beautiful is they want to incorporate families. They want to incorporate character building, goal setting, parent involvement, family involvement. So it's going to be a lot of parent-led activities involved. One thing that people love is that it's very streamlined. Everything just kind of is brought together and it's all right there. Streamlined, and it's easy to go. You open the book, you do the things, and you go. Now, like I said earlier, there is kind of a little bit of a learning curve with the Good and the Beautiful. You have to take your time, take a day, go out for coffee, sit at the coffee shop, whatever. Read through the introduction to see how it is formatted. But once you get that format down, like I said, you just kind of go with the flow and you're not going to have to prep too much unless you have to cut something out. They have mentioned, parents have mentioned, that it's very, very strong in the younger years. But as the children get older and get into middle school and then of course high school, it starts to be less rigorous. So the Good and the Beautiful strength is definitely found in the younger years, not as much in the high school years, but I think the Good and the Beautiful probably, that's the one thing I love about the Good and the Beautiful is that they do listen to their parents and they will make adjustments if needed because they're not there to serve themselves, they're there to serve parents. And so that's something that I've really appreciated. And they're very honest too, the Good and the Beautiful as a company. So I think we're going to see some changes there when it comes to the rigorous nature of the curriculum with the older years. So just kind of keep an eye on that. There have been, I'll be honest, and this goes actually for both Easy Peasy and the Good and the Beautiful, parents that have children that are gifted learners or very, very advanced learners, the curriculum comes across as super easy. So something to consider. I've also heard that parents that have children with unique abilities, learning disabilities like dyslexia, dysgraphia, these curriculum, they do help. But like I said, Easy Peasy needs a little bit more repetition, but that's pretty much it. You kind of have to play it by ear because every child that has a unique ability is so incredibly different. And what works for one kid does not necessarily work for another kid. And you just see it across. You can't just say this curriculum is great for unique learners. You can't do that. I think that pretty much covers it. I know a lot of you guys might have some thoughts and opinions about all of this. So please leave that down in the description box below, as well as feel free to share this video with anybody that is looking at those two curriculas. Now, I will put the video about the Good and the Beautiful right here. Like I said, it's a really good resource, and I got a lot of really good positive feedback on it. So if you're interested in that, it's right there. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.